Hello everyone, welcome to Buddha Zen Wisdom. We're here every day to accompany you. A 78-year-old shares her approach to aging, not going to a nursing home, not living with her children, but choosing a unique path to stay close yet independent. My name is Auntie Jeanne, and I'm 78 years old. In 2 short years, I'll enter my 80s, a stage of life often described as one of reflection and preparation. The subject of aging and finding a suitable living arrangement for the later years is something all elderly people face eventually. The choices can seem limited, and each has its pros and cons. 6 years ago, I chose a different path. I live neither in a nursing home nor in the homes of my children, yet I've found comfort and peace in the way I've arranged things. Looking back, my journey to this decision wasn't straightforward. It was one shaped by years of living, loving, and ultimately letting go. My story might resonate with others who are navigating similar situations, so I'd like to share it with you. Retirement, a new chapter, an adjustment. I still remember the first days of my retirement so clearly. I wasn't used to the change at all. After decades of work, it felt strange to suddenly be without the familiar rhythm of daily responsibilities. I've always been healthy, full of energy, and retirement didn't mean I was ready to slow down. My husband and I both retired at age 60, but my restless spirit led me to work part-time whenever opportunities arose. I guess I wasn't ready to just sit and wait for the days to pass by. For my husband and me, retirement turned out to be a second spring, a period of renewed happiness. We had our freedom from work, from worries about our children, and from the usual stresses of life. We took trips, exploring the beautiful landscapes and cultural treasures of our country, marveling at sights we had only dreamed of seeing. Our evenings were spent taking leisurely walks, watching the sunset hand in hand, just enjoying the simple pleasure of each other's company. We grew flowers together, tended a little garden that became our pride and joy. While he played chess and sipped tea, I would meet my friends for dancing and shopping. It felt like we were reliving the years we'd missed out on during our working lives. The loss of a life partner, a wound that doesn't heal. However, life is unpredictable. You can never foresee what tomorrow might bring. My husband, my companion through thick and thin, suddenly passed away from a heart attack at 71. In a flash, my world turned upside down. I struggled to make sense of life without him. We had built a beautiful rhythm together, and without him, life felt endlessly empty. I had never truly experienced loneliness until that moment. My husband and I have 2 children, a son and a daughter, who've always made us proud. They grew up to be self-reliant and hardworking, building their own lives without needing much help from us. They studied hard, earned their degrees, and started successful careers. They married wonderful partners and started their own families. Seeing them flourish was a joy we cherished. As they say, some children come into this world to repay the kindness of their parents. Perhaps that's the case with mine. After my husband's passing, both my son and daughter wanted me to move in with them. They live in the provincial capital, 3 hours away by car, and they were concerned about me living alone. But the thought of leaving this town, the town where I'd built a lifetime of memories with my husband, was unbearable. Our home held a lifetime's worth of shared experiences. So, I gently declined their invitation, promising that if there ever came a time when I truly needed help, I would consider moving in with them. My children respected my wishes, and their understanding warmed my heart. They called often, video chatted with me, and tried to fill my life with their presence from afar. Even though we weren't physically together, I felt surrounded by their love. Embracing solitude, finding independence. The months that followed my husband's death were difficult, to say the least. I wasn't myself. Perhaps it was grief, or perhaps simply age creeping up on me. When he was around, I took pleasure in cooking his favorite meals and caring for him. But now, cooking felt like a meaningless chore, and the joy had vanished. Meals became something I merely got through, lacking the warmth they once held. Evenings were the hardest. The silence of the house was deafening, and loneliness felt like a constant shadow. I'd turn the TV on and off, mindlessly scroll through my phone, anything to fill the empty space. Gradually, I felt my strength waning, and life began to feel overwhelming. I knew I had to make a decision about my future and the kind of care I might need in my later years. My children had once offered me a place in their homes, and I thought about it seriously. But moving in with them brought its own challenges. Living with my son could lead to family tensions with my daughter-in-law, a situation I didn't want to put anyone in. My daughter, on the other hand, already had her hands full, caring for her in-laws, and I didn't want to burden her further. For a time, I even considered moving to a nursing home. I wouldn't need to worry about meals or housework, and there would be people around. But my neighbor, Wine, shared her experience at a nursing home, and it completely changed my mind. She described the initial novelty, followed by an endless feeling of monotony. Each day, she faced only elderly faces, a constant reminder of life's fragility. The saddest part, she said, was witnessing roommates pass away, leaving a void that was quickly filled but never forgotten. The environment felt stifling, and after half a year, she decided to move back in with her son. Choosing a balanced life, close yet independent. Wang's story helped me see the importance of balance and connection. I spoke with my children and proposed a new plan. I would sell our family home and buy a small, second-hand house in my son's neighborhood. Close enough to share our lives, yet separate enough to respect each other's space. My children agreed. So, at 72, just before the Mid-Autumn Festival, I moved into a small apartment just 2 buildings away from my son. The proximity brought us all closer together. My son, daughter-in-law, and grandson visit often. On special occasions, my daughter also brings her family, and we gather in joyful celebration. I'm surrounded by my family, yet I live independently. For me, this arrangement is a blessing. As I grow older, I see that my children's lives are also busy. They juggle responsibilities, raising their own children and managing careers. So, 2 years ago, I used my pension to hire a part-time helper to handle some daily tasks, like cooking and cleaning. Sometimes, I invite my son to join me for meals. It brings us closer, but on terms that allow him to simply enjoy our time together without feeling obligated to care for me. A way of aging that brings peace. Living near my children without depending on them is a decision I feel deeply at peace with. It lets us connect without the burden of constant care. I get to enjoy my family while maintaining a sense of independence and self-respect. For anyone facing similar questions, remember that aging well is about finding the path that truly brings you peace. In the end, the best choice is the one that suits you best. For me, that means living close to my children, with enough space to cherish our relationship and still have my own life. After all, a respectful distance can be the most caring gesture of all.